Hello, this is the Ramblings of an Indisciplined podcast for Wednesday, August 31st, 2016. As of this recording, Sierra is still missing. So, I've got a couple of Android games I thought I'd share with you today. I'm assuming, once again, as I said last time, that these are probably available for iOS. I'd be willing to bet that even if these particular games aren't available, there might be something close out there. But they both look slick enough that I would imagine they're going to be in both places. The first one I'll talk about is called Smash Hit, which kind of sounds like you hired the Hulk to name it, but it's kind of a fun game, although it's the free version is a bit limited in its gameplay. So what it is you are the camera that is you is moving down this room, and as you tap the screen, you launch balls like metal. They look like metal ball bearing kind of balls, and there are things to break. So you start off with this in this room where you've got these triangular obelisk, I guess you call them, that are blue, and when you hit those with a ball, that gives you 3 more balls. So you start off, I think, with 25 balls, and then you get this room where all you got are these blue pylons to hit, and as you break them, you get more and more and more balls. So obviously you want to be able to break them very quickly, with one ball, and you want to get as many of them as you can. And then you go into other rooms, and there you've got like a pane of glass in front of you, and you have to launch a ball to break the pane of glass before the camera is going to run into it. And it's a really pretty game. They made it look really good, and the sound effects are good. I mean, it sounds like breaking glass. Breaking glass. So if you really get off on breaking glass, this might be the game for you. The problem with it is the game stops when you run out of balls, and there are checkpoints along the way, but the free version won't load from a checkpoint, so it takes you back to the beginning. So it's kind of fun, but I don't know that I feel like paying the $2 to get the Pro version or the Premier version, whatever the heck they're calling it. Probably not Pro, but it's kind of fun. So yeah, it's called Smash Hit. And then the other one is called That Level Again. And once again, it's kind of one of these it's a platform game. You get this little stick figure guy, and it was what caught my eye was that basically the level that you are on is always the same. The layout of it is pretty much always the same, and different things happen. You have to do things differently. So you start off on the left side, and you've got different platforms, and usually on the platform in the middle there's a button, and then you're trying to get out on the right side, and there's this doorway. And so like the very first one, you hop to the middle platform. Hopefully there are every so often these little spikes hanging down. If you hit those, you're automatically dead. And there's some on the ground too, spikes, and they're sticking up, obviously. Hit those, you're toast. But beyond that, you can jump and you can run, and you hit the button, and the door goes up, and you go out and you do that. But then they start changing things around, and each level's got a description, and I mean, just like one line, 2-3 words usually, if that. And what's really interesting about it is not only do they change up the gameplay, but they would do what I would call breaking the fourth wall. So now, if you're not familiar with that term, let me define it for you. So if you've ever watched I'll use Ferris Bueller's Day Off as a prime example. Throughout most of that movie, whenever Ferris is doing any kind of exposition, Matthew Broderick is staring at the camera, as if he's talking to you personally. And you know, that acknowledgement of the people that are watching the movie is called breaking the fourth wall. When it's done well, it can be a lot of fun. When it's not done well, it can be kind of strange. Well, this game kind of does that in the sense that usually you're in the game and you're in the game, and if you pop out to go, if you hit there's a pause button that'll bring up the options, and you can turn on the sound effects, and you can turn on the music, and you can go back to the menu, and there's options on the menu. You can get to the levels. Various levels will use those things. You have to hit the pause button in order to complete the level. Sometimes you have to hit a button that's outside of the game, either like one of the buttons that are part of Android. You get the home back and the running programs button. You got to hit one of those. Sometimes you got to hit one of the hard buttons on your phone, the hardware or the power on and off or whatever. And so it's kind of interesting because anything's possible. The description is descriptive, but a lot of times you only get it once you figure it out. So there are like 60 levels or something like that, and they tend to be pretty quick. I mean, if you can figure it out, it's usually a pretty quick thing. It's just all contained on the screen there. Each level is contained on the screen there, and so I thought it was very creative, and I did enjoy it. There's something on the order of like 60 levels. So, and there is a sequel. There's that level again too. So if you try it, it is free. I believe 2 is free too. I have not downloaded 2 yet, but it's an interesting game in just that, basically anything that you can do with the phone is potentially fair game. And once you kind of get that, then it's like, oh, this says this. Well, does that mean this? I mean, you're not just dealing with the little world as given to you on the screen. It could be something that's, on the phone or part of the phone that's not what's on the screen, and that kind of adds a new level of challenge to it. Now, one of the things that is nice is there are unlimited hints. You can always get a hint for every level. The only cost there is when you do a hint, that you do have to put up with a 30-second ad, usually for some of the game. I will admit that I did a fair amount of hints. I definitely used my share of that, but it's nice because a lot of games would be like, oh, you get 5 hints, and maybe you need to buy more hints or whatever, and they didn't do that, so that was kind of cool. So it's an interesting little game. At some point, I'll have to check out the sequel to it and see how much they further warped that kind of game. But it was an interesting little game. So that was called That Level Again. Is the name of the game. So yeah, that's all I got for you today. I will be back tomorrow. I'll be talking to you then. So be seeing you.